Hello, how are you doing? Uh, I just got done cooking lunch, and I'm fortunate that I can work from home most of the time. And then I did some work. It's good to be doing the things that I need to be doing in my life to do good in life. And I have to say that last year was not that way. Last year, I had just gotten tinnitus. I had some other problems too, and I couldn't sleep like 1-2 hours a night for months, and I would literally be screaming in the middle of the night because I was so much suffering from not being able to sleep and being exhausted and anxious all the time. So I'm happy to be here telling you that I recovered and I'm okay now. So cooking is an interesting meditation. I say that because whatever we get involved in doing, anything is sort of like a meditation, or our mind gets involved in doing that thing. And in the case of cooking, if you don't mind my describing it, I had to get the ingredients out of the refrigerator. I had to decide what items I was going to cook and in what order I was going to prepare them. I got the noodles started first, and then I drained the noodles, and then I came back and used the same pan and cooked some greens with some mushrooms and some other, some peppers. And then I had the noodles and the other ingredients separate, and I put them together and I ate it. And I also was thinking about I'm going to share the food with some other people, so I wanted to include things that they would like also. So I had to be thoughtful of that as well, and the temperature and watching the pan to make sure that nothing's burning. And it's a meditation. I have to focus on what I'm doing when I'm cooking. So this is how our brain works. We get involved in doing something, and we can get better at it, if we repeat it and we're thoughtful of what we're doing. And this is the essence of how our brain works and how we can improve. Now, when something really big happens, like in my case, I got COVID, and it did some weird things to my nervous system, and also I got the tinnitus from it. I was suddenly trained to think in a new way, and a not so good way at that. I was suddenly trained to worry about tinnitus, to want to make it go away, to find any way to get out of the suffering of hearing this noise all the time, and then just being so spent because it didn't get better. So I had to really do a lot of thinking about what I can do about it. And that took a long time to understand. I understand now that I was so focused, and I trained myself by repetitive thoughts about the tinnitus. I was so focused on how awful it was that I made it worse. I trained myself to make it worse. I trained myself to worry about it, I've got to have a noise next to me. I've got to put some eardrops in my ear. There might be some wax in there that I can make it go away. I have to avoid quiet places. All kinds of different strategies I had to try to do something to make it better. And then I arrived at, I've got to welcome it. I've got to welcome this into my life. It's a part of me now. And at first, I had to grin and bear it and say, I love tinnitus. It's just so wonderful. It's a beautiful sound that helps me to know it's kind of like little insects in the forest. in this nice, lovely forest of insects with this ringing sound, and it makes me know that I'm safe and I'm alive and everything's okay. Obviously, that's kind of crazy to say it that way, isn't it? But it's also kind of crazy to say, I can't stand it, stop it, I hate this. You know, that, I'd rather be this kind of crazy. I love it. It's so wonderful. I just love the way it sounds, and no one is so fortunate like me to have this beautiful sound in my life. It's crazy, but think about the crazy you have sometimes. That's also not helping you, is it? So I did that for a while, and I reached this point where I actually sort of said, you know, I am okay. It is an okay sound. It doesn't hurt me. I can go on and do everything I need to do. And what that did for me was it also made it possible for me to not notice it much of the time. I don't notice it right now. I can't hear it. I don't know how to describe it, but if I look for it, I can find it. If I try to listen for, I say, oh, there it is. And it's a pretty loud sound. I don't know how to characterize it, but especially if I go close the door and quiet room, it's there, big time. But I've got another sound in the room, and I almost always have some sounds, which is not too different than before I had tinnitus. There was always sound around, you know. But now it's a little bit more helpful to have some sounds around. So, but I got to the point where it's just okay. I accept it. I welcome the tinnitus into my life. I accept it now. I can't do anything about it that I'm aware of right now, but I've welcomed it so much that I just don't notice it most of the time. And as I said, that is way, way different than what it was before. The sound hasn't changed, but the way I notice it has changed a lot. And I'm so much better now. So back to the cooking. It took me 30, 45 minutes to get this food prepared, and I have to take a phone call. So that's the end of the video. I'll see you. Bye-bye.